Hi folks, my name's Johanna and we're going to try out some laundry today. Alrighty, so the first thing that we've done, of course we've got a copper kettle here. Now copper is better than a cast iron because if you've ever cooked with cast iron pans, it takes a minute for it to heat up. Copper on the other hand is a lot faster with the heating up and it also heats evenly. And that's especially what you want with something this large and when you have this much water to get warm. Now what we've done, of course, is built a really good fire underneath. You want to keep it going all day long. And then I have taken some of my lye soap and I've actually shaved little bits of it off into the pot itself. Now I have hard lye soap. There's also soft soap during the period. There are all sorts of different kinds of soaps for specific spot treating things. But for today, I'm just doing a basic laundry, so that's why I have our basic soap. So earlier I shaved it off into the pot. That's why our pot is kind of a milky color now. Now when you get started and when our pot really gets hot, you really want it boiling and get it hot enough. But if you kind of move it around with what I have, a laundry bat, this is going to come in handy a couple of different times. But of course we can kind of move things around in our pot. Alright, so what you're going to want to wash are your whites. So it'll be your shift, your shirt, aprons, things like that. Now of course your shift and your shirt are going to be your primary layers and you're going to have several of them depending upon how rich you are, but the average person would have several that they would change out and be able to wash on a pretty regular basis. So we've thrown all these into our hot lye water here, and we'll take our laundry bat and kind of whisk things out. Right now I've actually got some kitchen cloths in here. So what we're going to do, these have been in here soaking for a while, so I'm just going to kind of take them out and let them drip a little bit over the pot, and then we're going to move on to our next step. This is where we're really going to spot treat things. Since this is a kitchen cloth, it needs a whole lot of spot treating. But primarily what you can do is find your stains here, which are a great number, and take a little bit of the lye soap and literally just scrub it on here. Now you'll see a pretty good bunch of suds coming out from our lye soap. It does a fantastic job of lifting the dirt and the stains out. So we're just going to kind of spot treat it like this. Now there are many different ways to lift stains during the period, just as we have many different things to put on our stains today. But there are some primary ones. Now one is ammonia bleach. Now ammonia bleach during this period, the easiest way to get it is actually urine. So we've got urine here, and if you let it set for about 2 weeks in the sun, it'll become bleach and it works quite well. So that's a great way to really lighten those stains and get them out on your white clothes. Now too, what we can do is put a little bit of indigo, and if you've ever used a bluing agent, it's the same basic principle. Of course, this is the powder version of indigo, so you can just put a little bit in it because it will dye your clothes if you put too much, but just a little bit, it'll make things a little bit lighter and whiter. There are all sorts of different things too for starching. For instance, rice starch. You can take rice starch, kind of boil starch for a long time and let it have a nice kind of clear liquid, right? That kind of boiled, thickened water. And officers actually preferred this type of starch because it was, number one, stiff. You can put it on collars, but it also gave kind of a little shine to it, so it was an added bonus as well. But for now, we have scrubbed, kind of spot cleaned as much as we can on this specific cloth. So I'm just going to wring it out over my rinse bucket and, over my soap bucket and go to the rinse bucket. So of course, we've got some nice cool water in here. We'll get those suds out of it and just kind of move it around a little bit. Wring it out again. Now, then comes the fun part, and where our laundry bat really comes in handy. So we'll put our cloth out here, and now you can, of course, kind of rinse or twist your clothes, but that's a little bit hard on certain seams. So you can just smack the water out of it. And this is a great way to get water to get out in an efficient way without really hurting any of your hands and seams. So we're just going to smack it out until it's sufficiently dry, in this manner anyway. Of course it won't be dry, it'll stay moist. How it works out. Alright, and then the last thing that we're going to do is actually go over to our laundry green. So let's Alright, so now your last step here is actually to lay things out on the grass. Now the really neat part about this is that, of course, the grass is undergoing photosynthesis. Now if we put our cloth in between the sun and the grass, and let it dry out like this, it actually will make things a little bit lighter. It'll lighten stains, and it also gives off a really nice kind of a scent. So our grass will it'll smell like a clover or a grass scent, which is quite fantastic. And laundry greens are of course hugely important during this time. We can see in primary sources where people will be talking about the size of their laundry green or simply the need of it. So here we have the whole process of laundry during the 18th century.